Hi there, in this video I'm gonna explain you how you can manage the local and environment variables in Linux. So first of all, let me show you how you can create local variable. So for that you have to execute this command, like you have to give the name of the variable. There is no command as such, just give the name of the variable and its value, say XYZ, and then print that value using $v1. So as you can see, I have created one variable v1 and it's a local variable. It is not it will not be available to other child processes or other processes. So if I create a child process, say using switch user command, and try to access that variable over there using this echo $v1, as you can see, that variable is not available to the child process. So how do you make that variable available to the child process? So I'm gonna go back to the main process and then export that particular variable, so that when you export the variable, what it does is actually it creates the variable as environment variable. That means that variable is available to the child processes. So I'm gonna create a child process using this command switch user. So when I switch user, it is actually creating a child process. And now if I do echo $v1, this time around it should display the value of variable v1, because now it is available to the child process because we have exported that one. So as you can see, it has displayed this value XYZ. So that's the difference between the local variable and environment variable in Linux. Remember that this variable v1, even though it is environment variable, it is just accessible to the child processes. So if you create another process like new tab, it is actually a new process. It's not the child process of this command prompt. So if you print that variable over here, it will not be printed because it's not the child process of the main process. So like that. So if you do the PS tree, which displays the parent and child processes, here you can see that we are in this bash, and then in that bash we switched to user, and then another bash process started. So that bash process was the child process, and the new window, that new command prompt or the bash prompt that we opened is here. So that variable that we created was in this process and exported, we exported that. So that's why that variable was accessible in this bash, but because this bash was the child process of this bash. But that variable wasn't available, even though it was an environment variable, it is not available in this bash because it is not the child process, it is the child process of this particular process. So had we created that variable in this process, it would have been available over here. So that's the difference between the this local variables and environment variables. So how do you make that variable accessible to all processes? For that, you will have to store that variable in some files which get executed every time you open the bash prompt. For example, .bashrc or .bash login or profile files that are available in your home directory. So you can create those variables, execute those commands in those particular files, and that will be available in all the bash processes. So that's the difference between local variables and environment variables in Linux. If you like this video, hit like button.